Good afternoon and welcome back to this segment where we are discussing about the international collaboration opportunities for research and higher education sector post the new education policy 2020 coming in. In conversation with us is Dr. Vanita Agarwal, Chief Executive Officer, LIS Strategic, who will provide us the opportunity in this segment to understand what can research universities or research as a domain gain from international collaborations. So over to you, ma'am. We would like to understand from you, since you're handling many licenses, we were talking about 100 universities being the focus perhaps in the new education policy to receive collaborations. How does it pan out for research in general in the higher education sector? That is my first question to you. Secondly, if not the 100, what about the other universities or institutions?
So yeah, thank you Anupma for this interesting question. Research definitely would get a wider scope as this research collaboration opportunities with foreign universities is allowed and permitted, though it was there earlier also, but in a very limited sense because very few government agencies were funding research opportunities. And first thing which I found was lack of information, ready information for research scholars. There could be several ways in which one can avail these kind of opportunities at individual level, but now since government of India has announced national education policy 2020, it is more on institutional level now onwards. And that is a good thing because when it comes to institutional level, individuals do not have to worry about to get the information. It will be available at the institute itself, first thing. So there would be more motivation and inspiration and availability of resources, availability of information, availability of positions like postdoc positions, like projects availability, research associate availability, demands, all that information would be readily available, hopefully, if the institutions are proactive in providing, and because national education policy has emphasized that there would be two types of universities. One would be teaching incentivized university, but there also they have to provide research opportunities for their teachers. And second would be research incentivized universities where research would be the prime focus along with teaching will definitely would be there. So teaching research are going to be two facets now. It won't be just solely teaching as per national education policy, which is very good step. uh, and as you said, top 100, yes, I suppose solely top 100 won't do in such a huge country. I think government of India has planned it in phases. That should be the way. And to start with, they have taken top 100 universities because generally when we talk about top universities, they are already handling such license, such collaborations. They are well aware of how it should go. And these kind of collaboration can prove to be a model for other institutes to follow in following phases. So I think
How
by the
does,
time,
uh,
yeah, so I suppose by the time other universities get accustomed to the national education policy implementation, training teachers, and regulations well in place, by that time these models would be readily available to follow.
Okay, now that we are looking at more research focused, even at the 4 year level, we have the fourth year to be focused on research and research universities coming in. India is a very interesting country for the international community, isn't it? You must have experienced this in your
Yes.
licensing. So, do you think that would encourage the international stakeholders to venture into India for Indian studies, scholarships, or collaboration with the research scholars? Is that going to happen beyond the 100?
Definitely, it is going to happen, and I will tell you, Anupma, not many people might be knowing about this factor. Leave about the legal framework of universities and the regulations. Many foreign students visit spiritual leaders
Hmm.
to complete their research about Indian culture, Indian mythology, Indian history, heritage, and so. There is no framework, is there? So I think time will come then when higher education will also have one spiritual guru for PhD, for facilitating PhD of foreign students, because international countries or foreigners, they perceive India as mystical land, a land of mystery, a land of spirituality, a land of, it's very different in culture, in thought processes, in its beliefs, in its faiths from rest of the Western world, if we should say. South Asian countries are more or less similar. But when we go deep, the basic faiths, basic beliefs are still the same. Youngsters do respect their elders and do take care of their elders in their old age, whether it is Western world or it is Indian world. Not much of difference is there. If you talk deeply, I have talked deeply with Europeans, with Canadians, with Americans. When we talk close on one-to-one basis, we come to know that cultures are almost all the same. There is no boundaries. Same way, exactly. The way we think, our values, they also think. It's only the practice which seems to be different. What we see them to be doing, we feel that it is very much different, and what they see us to be doing, they feel it is much different. And which is because of India has gone through so many phases. Uh, there have been invasions, there have been British colony Raj of years, and we have seen so much so, but still we have survived.
So
And
do you think actually, because of you brought back a very interesting perspective which I was coming to, and which I've heard from many leading educational leaders, senior educational leaders, vice chancellors, pro vice chancellors, directors. Now the focus of the national education policy is going to be multidisciplinary and also going to focus a lot on Indian languages. So, do you think
yes,
there will be a lot of collaborations possible in areas which were not earlier possible, say for the basic sciences, the applied sciences, perhaps in the Indian studies? Like, for example, we might not be giving too much of interest to Sanskrit as a whole, but we do find Western nations doing a lot of studies on Indian culture, Sanskrit, Germany, some of these countries. So, do you think these are the perhaps the niche areas that collaboration can work out for international opportunities?
yes, I do think so. That there are so many niche areas where foreign students want to come and explore the Indian culture and mythology, as I again said. Languages. Uh, I heard there is a full Sanskrit school in Germany where everybody speaks only Sanskrit. So, yes, there are many avenues there, because once you open the door for international collaboration opportunities, there is a lot of opportunities within itself, and there are so many areas. And as national education policy also talks about multidisciplinary, and multidisciplinary is not only about defined subjects like social sciences, arts, humanities, languages. It's also about holistic development, like thought process, the mental attitudes, the faiths, the beliefs, the religions, the cultures, the diversity. Diversity in itself is such a huge subject to be studied in India. So many religions, so many communities, so many languages, they live together in harmony with each other. So unity in diversity, such a big area to explore. People get amused. How come so many people just live together?
And talking about spiritual leaders and the affinity of the West to the Indian culture per se, do you think that the national education policy also needs to be discussed in the international forum to kind of sensitize even the international stakeholders about the
Yes, that
opportunities which are here?
yes, yes,
How,
that
how
is
do you
very very
think?
important.
Mhm. So
That
how
is
do you
very very important. Please, please.
Yeah, how do you think the stakeholders like you, players in the field where you build bridges between the national players and the international players, how do you think you would like to take this forward and include us, say as Dayanand Sagar University? How can we take your help and support and leverage and synergize this opportunity going forward?
So first thing is, Dr. Anupma, I would say that first thing is definitely I'm going to work upon making a draft of national education policy, which is already announced as per international audience, highlighting the points obviously upon internationalization of education so that it can attract them. They should be aware of what new is happening in India and what are the opportunities for them to explore. So unless, because ultimately that comes to business, and unless we attract international clients, which is institutes and universities and some research project organizations, that yes, now this is the new scenario and you are welcome to explore the opportunities, then these things open up with talks. It does take time, but it opens up with mutual talks and mutual communication. So unless we present that uh, this is the new scenario and this is the latest development, uh, and try to attract their attention, try to attract their interest, that yes, you have now some opportunities to explore, definitely things will flow.
So do you think that people like us from the university level, okay, administrators, faculty
Definitely,
members,
yes.
we need to, I think, come together with stakeholders like yourself. So when you're making such a proposal, for example, you are not in Karnataka, right? And when we talk about Karnataka, or we are talking about our own city, Bangalore, to be talking about, say, the universities in Bangalore, we know about so many things, so many nuances which can be explored with respect to the new education policy, multidisciplinary aspect, study of Indian aspects, study of skill based aspects. So, do you think you would also require our help in terms of developing the, although we talk about growing global, the local possibility that is going to be there? Wouldn't you require our help to kind of explore that and build a document per se?
So it's basically customizing the solution. When
Yes.
we talk about two parties and we want to bring about collaboration between the two parties, it talks about a lot of customization that needs to be done. So we need to understand from our international client what kind of product or services they want to provide or they want to have. And similarly, for your university, then we will have your idea about in which kind of area you want to proceed, what kind of opportunity for collaborations you are looking forward for, what are the adjustments that you can do, what are the cost factors that you can afford. So this is a lot of customization that happens with both the parties. And when they come to the table finally after discussions and yes, we are interested in this product, they also say yes, this can be explored, then cost factors, legalities, these are all to be taken care of, which we talk to both the parties, and then things start moving in. But
So,
willingness needs to be there. Yeah.
okay. Now, when I'm talking about this building the partnership or putting forward the information, say our university being in a particular city, in a state, I perhaps I'm not going to go directly into what is it in for us immediately. What I'm trying to say is, we as universities, we are centers where we are trying to create knowledge, disseminate knowledge, have a very inclusive approach to our society in and around the city and the state. So when we talk to you, or when I'm talking to you on behalf of the university, the research cell, I'm talking about a situation wherein something which is put across to the international community through you, or you are letting us know what is the opportunity available. We will not really talk about only ourselves. We are talking about the set of universities, set of multidisciplinary things that can be happening. We perhaps would collaborate. In fact, within a particular state and city, of course, the entire country, the collaboration, I think, is one of the key spirits of the national education policy. So collaborations would be seen among institutions, among universities also. So when we talk to you, or when we would be in a position to help you, do you think that in this now present state, where the new education policy is being discussed and trying to be understood, and even the formulators and the executors are thinking of execution, we should also be taking an active approach in terms of also identifying opportunities for international collaborations that can be made by liaising with your help from educators and administrators from the university level without focusing too much on what do I get in a particular institution.
Exactly. So you correctly pointed out collaborations are also holistic in nature. They are not like, you know, definitely in higher education, it is never give and take or sell and bought process. It's a holistic approach. So everybody has to see not only from the monetary point of view, but also from what benefits one is giving and one is taking. So it's kind of symbiotic relationship being developed, because they are not created for, you know, it takes time to develop the collaboration ecosystem also. It is not a one day or few months. It takes time. So before you approach, you understand each other, you create those opportunities, you think about it, bring about the societal factors into it, and look at a holistic approach that will this symbiotic system be beneficial for both the parties and for the society as a whole, for students, for other universities surrounding. Definitely that makes a difference, and that is a process actually. You correctly defined it. You correctly
So,
defined it. Yeah.
yes, ma'am. So I think both universities, research centers, the entire educational sector, I think, has a lot of work to do with multiple stakeholders. Do you
Yes.
agree?
Multiple stakeholders, and it's a really, it's not one process. So you need to, you know, study so many factors while you bring collaborations into picture. You have to study rules and regulation framework. Apart from that, affordability of the students, institutes affordability. If suppose you want to have a collaboration with a research project, whether you have that kind of staff who is available with your institute to work on that research project, to give his or her expertise on that particular research project, then there is another factor that the foreign university which is coming into play. They will also look for what is the benefit for them to engage your university with them. And before that, I would also point out, Dr. Anupma, that there are some universities who just want to go for, you know, what they call it, decorative MOUs, uh, just to decorate their websites that they had done MOU with so and so university, which is not a good practice at all, because it creates a sense of disbelief and distrust. Higher education is all about trust. Higher education itself is built on trust, the basic foundation. So such kind of practices should be discarded and should be discouraged. Uh, and Government of India should also see, I would say, Ministry of Education, when they are implementing this national education policy, as I read through, accreditation levels would be there, and after a university or a college reaches a particular accreditation level, only then he or he it would be allowed for a collaboration opportunity. So there would be stages. If you reach that particular level, then you can go for research collaboration with a foreign university. So their intention is to maintain the standard. So there should be some guards on that these kind of decorative MOUs are not taken. And if some MOU is being done, then there should be a watch what you did to accomplish that MOU. You wrote on paper, there would be a student exchange, faculty exchange, research collaboration opportunities, and you did nothing out of it, except for putting on your website.
Yes,
That practice puts higher education sector in a very bad light before international community.
I think, in fact, that is, of course, it is a prevalent practice. But all the
Yes.
same, I guess, if I look at it from another perspective, ma'am, it's also perhaps the opportunity that was available was not really that much. That is why I feel that when I spoke to various experts and university leaders or institutional leaders, what came out across was what you have also been talking about, is the fact that we are trying to take advantage of India in its magnitude, in its depth, in the holistic values that it has. And I think everything is coming in right from the Guru Shishya Parampara, the Gurukul system, to making sure people learn skill-based things which can be useful in life. So there are various things I think which will make this system a little bit more flexible. The academic, the credit bank, the multiple entry and exit points, so which helps people to pursue different pursuits. So I guess some of these, yes, so-called collaborations which could have worked but did not work, I think we'll have better chances with more collaborations happening in different areas, perhaps which have more executability option, which is the key focus area. And I think the international
I would
space,
I would
international,
say, Dr. Anupma, being higher education institute, being the heads of higher education institutes, one knows what are the rules and regulations and where we can go and where we cannot go. So one should not barge into MOUs when you very well know that this is not going to work out. Intention should be there. If intention is there, at least student exchange or some kind of research collaboration can definitely happen. Research collaboration was not stopped. So some of your staff can go for postdoc position for some time to foreign university. That is not prohibited. Is that?
so that
Correct me if I'm wrong.
no, that is not. But yes, lesser
That is
said than
not.
done. Lesser said than
Yeah.
done. And but I
So
think,
if the host university is not willing to fund that staff to go, because staff is not in a position to fund their visits and work and accommodation and all those things. So there is UGC who funds. I have gone abroad on UGC fundings, but one needs to pursue these things, and universities need to allow their staff to go.
so do you think grants funding will be a little bit more in
Yes, it
focus
would be a
now?
big challenge unless government supports a lot,
Mm,
and it is going to be a challenge
okay.
because we are not charging students much, first thing. So incoming cash flow is less, and government is talking about, NEP is talking about free ships as many as possible, free scholarships to students as many as possible. uh, then they are talking about this creating ecosystem for best of the faculty, creating research opportunities, creating best of the digitally equipped classrooms. They say each classroom should be digitally equipped. So when you say each classroom, each means each, and they are talking about 3000 plus students in each college. If you read NEP, it says very very clearly that each degree granting accredited college should have 3000 plus students.
Yes.
So when you are talking on that level, so how many classrooms for so many students?
How about
Even if you phase out through the day,
the research foundation and the funding part?
funding part. So it means there would be a very much load on National Research Foundation. So there would be then slabs. There would be percentage that so many people from this institute can go or can get funding. There would be definitely slabs. Then there would again be a problem.
And
You know,
how about
internal politics.
but how about getting into uh, this part of the policy and blending it into the international partnerships? Do you think that
It
would
has
help
to be
in
done
getting?
because it has to be done. When you are expecting research collaborations and internationalization, because as of now what I found, though they have mentioned student faculty exchange, research collaborations and opportunities, but main emphasis is on calling international students to Indian soil. That is the main emphasis because it will boost economy of nation. That is the purpose of internationalization of education. Rest of the things are still at the back seat.
So we look forward
Let
to.
us wait. Let us wait and watch till the detailed guidelines are there.
Okay.
And as I said, international education also means online inherent. So what are the guidelines for online education and courses from foreign universities? That also needs to be seen.
Now,
Previously, it was not there.
right, and I
There
think
was hardly one pager.
right, with the, I think the final thing being on the regulation front, we have the HECI coming up with the different verticals accreditation, standard setting regulation. So I think we will see more of that coming into the picture, and we look forward to working with you, ma'am. So in
Thank you.
terms of exploring global opportunities for research,
Sure.
research funding, and you are also a scholar, academician, and you are a PhD also, I think. So the conversation between the national and the international player becomes much more relevant, ma'am. So I do
Yes.
look forward to working with you on behalf of our research cell, Dayanand Sagar University. Your views on that, parting view on that?
Yeah, I will say I welcome National Education Policy 2020 from Government of India. Uh, in my 22 years of professor of teaching experience and research experience, I left research only after I left teaching. Uh, to be said, till then I was active. The points, there were many points. There were many points I used to note down that this is the hiccup, this is the hiccup, this is the hiccup. This should not be there. And this national policy has addressed to all those hiccups. So very very welcome move. And we are looking that there would be challenges, but unless you take a step, there is a saying, गिरता है घुड़सवारी मैदान में जंग में, तो घोड़ों पे चढ़ोगे नहीं तो गिरोगे कहाँ से? तो उस डर से आप ना तो पॉलिसी बनाइए, ना कुछ नया लाइए, ये इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं होगा, कैसे होगा, ये होगा, वो होगा। अरे एक अच्छा मूव आया है तो उसे वेलकम कीजिए और उसमें सपोर्ट कीजिए। So I would say support with your whole heart and do whatever you can to implement it in right way. Intention should be right. It is a very good move, very good, and almost all the issues that we faced in our educationist, as a part of higher education institute, as a research scholar, all those points have been addressed and much more. And this internationalization is a very very welcome move, because with this our students would be at par with the international standards. It's not about international students coming to our soil. It's also about bringing international courses, quality standards to our students without sending them abroad.
Okay. So
So
finally,
yes.
ma'am, I just wanted to ask you. So from the research cell of Dayanand Sagar University, I would really look forward to working with you. At least, as you rightly said, we do have that holistic intention of global partnership. So I will be working closely with you to explore at least one such fruitful execution
Sure, my pleasure.
of international
My pleasure.
collaboration on different aspects, things which can be workable. And I think we should start with that one step, as you rightly said. There might be fallbacks, there might be some hurdles, but I think we will take it forward. So thank you so much for your time, ma'am. And
Thank you, Dr. Anupma. Thank you so much for giving this platform to explain my views. And I appreciate your efforts of bringing higher education leaders to discuss upon NEP. We get to know, different views. Uh, Thanks.
yeah, and this I am doing on behalf of our university, Dayanand Sagar University, because UGC has mandated that the universities must make the effort to create the awareness for the National Education Policy 2020 among all stakeholders. And one such opportunity which I wanted to explore with you was the international collaboration. And I think which beyond this meeting we will continue, and I think we will keep our viewers posted and all stakeholders posted on the developments. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. With regards from
Thank you.
the research cell, Dayanand Sagar University, signing off. Have a good evening.